Hello everyone, I'm in my home shop today and decided I wanted to work on a new bird and trout knife. So I figured now would be a good time to do my first kind of walkthrough on how I do knives. So if you want to check out my last video is kind of a walkthrough of my camper van that I recently got, so feel free to go to my channel and check that out. Now, my everyday carry right now is kind of a bird and trout style knife. It's a smaller knife, and I actually originally got it as a blank. One of my friends gave me a bunch of blanks, and so I decided I'd put this one together. I have a couple of issues with it. This little notch right here really bothers me at work because I'm always cutting a lot of plastic bags because there's a lot of prepackaged parts, and it always gets caught. It always gets caught in those plastic bags. So that's one issue. I also, for a real bird and trout knife, I want to make it a little bit smaller and with a little bit more style. So as I was looking through kind of designs that I liked, one of the designs that I gravitated towards was the Schrade Sharpfinger, which this is kind of my own design that I came up with based on that. And I have a couple issues with this design, so I'm actually going to go through and do some updates, so we will do those right now. So I ended up making about 3 different versions. My first one right here, as you can see, got the smaller kind of tang and a little bit shorter overall construction. Things that I really wanted to do on this second one were drop the point down a little bit so there's not quite so much of a curve right at the end here. I wanted to beefing it up a little bit here and then add this little finger groove. Now, once I got this one done, I kind of realized that with how small the handle is, it feels a lot better to have something here to put my pinky on. So I actually went through and made another version of this with a slightly different butt of the handle, and I think this is the one I'm going to go with. So now that I have a good pattern picked out, it's time to choose what kind of steel I'm going to use. Now, my dad used to do a lot of horseshoeing, so I have a lot of these farrier's rasps hanging around. Almost every knife that I've made, except for this one that I said was out of a blank, every other knife has been out of a farrier's rasp. But we actually got some 01 tool steel that I have yet to play with, so I went ahead and transferred my pattern to this stuff, and I'm going to go at it with an angle grinder, get a rough shape cut out, and then start hitting it with the belt grinder and refining everything down before I heat treat. Okay, so after a little bit of work with the angle grinder, I was able to get it down to a rough shape. Now you can see here, the black line is kind of just the outline. I want to be just on the inside edge of that black line. So there's still plenty of work for me to do. I just wanted to get the grunt of the work done on the angle grinder just to save some of my belts a little bit. So now it's off to the belt grinder.